So let's pop on the tape. Tell us what you see
Please.
when you watch him. What do you think about this young man?
Yeah, man. So it was funny. Like when he committed, I initially, and I touched on this in the little paragraph I wrote on the forum, but I was like, man, that kid reminds me so much of Caleb Smith out of Frisco Reedy. When I was at Texas Tech, he was literally like the first kid, I think, like one of the first few that we offered when I got to Texas Tech. But it was one of those deals where you look at the height, weight, you look at the skill set. And to me, when you look at a guy like Logan Saldate, he's a little over 5'11". He's probably closer to 180, 185 pounds. During the spring camp circuit, he jumped like a 32 something vertical, low 4.4 shuttle, 9.4 broad. So he's got great lower body explosiveness. He's got good change of direction, suddenness, and you see that on tape, right? The moment he catches the football, he gets in and out with the ball in his hands. He does stuff like that where he shows you he can go up in high point regardless of being 5'11", regardless of having closer to a 6'6" wingspan. But the thing that I think he does best is when the ball is in his hands, he makes guys miss. And he's such a pain in the butt to just bring to the ground. He's slippery, he's tough, and he's got legit speed. I mean, the guys run a 10.8 in the 100-meter dash. He's got a 22.3 in the 200. He's to touch on that lower explosion, right? That's something we really value in terms of projectability to the next level. That kid's got a 24-foot long jump, which I don't know if you guys really can, like, that is bonkers long. Like, that's crazy. That's like upper 95 percentile of all wide receivers or anyone in really the class of 2024. That's crazy long. So stuff like that projects to the next level when you talk about being able to separate and being able to really run with guys. Like everybody's running track. That's such a projectable metric for us when it comes to long-term development. So he's always had that tool in the bag. And that's something, I mean, honestly, looking back at it, when he committed, I looked at the grade and I was like, man, 86. I was like, that might even be a little low. So when we get senior tape, he's got every chance with his physical and athletic tools to rise up, especially as he puts on more tape as a senior, because that's really the biggest part of the evaluation for us, right? These guys, what they look like in their last possible viewings before they get to the next level.
Yeah, it's an interesting tape here, Cody, and thank you for joining the show on such short notice for this today. You're our first guest in Notre Dame Recruiting Update show history, so that is big news. Yeah. And the coolest last name. I mean, what a cool last name.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dad. Thanks his dad before him. Thanks that guy's dad. So appreciate
it. Cody, you look at a player here, and Mike, we needed to have Cody on from the jump of this show because I butchered this name to start us out today. So thank you for the beautiful pronunciation there. But, you talk about the timeline of this recruitment a little bit and, how we got to this point with the flip today.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm not sure. I don't really know about this kid's recruitment, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I always say this, like, I like that our scouts don't follow you're not a reporter. Right, you don't need to be involved. Yeah. Like just scout. Like that's all. They
send me the tape and they say, "Watch this," and I go, "Okay," and we go from there.
Like, okay, but yeah, in terms of the recruitment, I mean, he took official visits. I think it was Oklahoma State, Cal, Oregon State. Committed to Oregon State at the I think the end of May or something. Or he took visits. Maybe I can't remember. I think he had some officials lined up but committed to Oregon State before taking them. But anyways, commits to Oregon State at the end of May. And then once Notre Dame had the decommitment of Isaiah Candy, and I was told the staff looked at about, 24 or so 2024 wide receivers. And I talked about this in the video with Tim Hyde, like 5-star type guys. They were like, hey, can we sneak in there? To, like circling around to guys like Jeremiah McClellan and Ryan Wingo and even Breedell Richardson, and then guys like Logan Saldate, who, your traditional 3-star, flip from a lower Pac-12 school. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect Oregon State, call them a lower Pac-12 school, but they're not at the top of the conference right now. I do love Oregon State though. Personally, I used to cover the Beavers, had a great time, covering the school in Corvallis. Been to Corvallis is a great place, but anyways. So, I mean, he told me that Notre Dame will be his 3rd Catholic school, Trey. So, like, he's, I grew up Catholic. So, Notre Dame was kind of the pinnacle for him. So, he was happy with Oregon State, but Notre Dame offers him just a few days back and commits. So it's interesting. We're in a dead period right now, so Notre Dame couldn't have him come up to camp or anything. So they said, hey, they did like a virtual camp with him. They said, hey, run the route tree.
Yeah.
Have mom video it in the backyard, whatever. He sent in running a 40. And then from there, Notre Dame went from, hey, we like you to, we want you on our commit list.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's how you got to do it, right? Like I can tell you the countless amounts of times where you just say, hey man, this kid didn't go to a camp. We haven't gotten him on campus. Like, hey dude, would you mind just having your coach or your parents or whoever just take a video of us? Like, can you stand there with a tape measure? Can you stand on a scale? Can you do your arm so we can look at your wingspan, stuff like that? Because that stuff matters. Like those metrics and measurables really, really matter. And that's one of those things where like, that's something that talking about in-person evaluations, right? When you work for a team, the only time, especially as an off-field guy, right, like myself, the only time we ever got to see these kids work out and run around in person was at our camps. That's the only time we're allowed to see them. And, we can get like height, weight and stuff or wingspan and arm length when they come on campus, like for a visit or whatever, but we never get to see these cats run around unless it's at the camp itself, which is something that now that I'm on this side of things doing media stuff, I can go to all the camps I want. I can go to the school camps. I can go to the invitationals, like those national combines and stuff. Like I got to see Logan Saldate in person myself. When I went to the Under Armour Los Angeles camp, I got to watch him work out. I got to watch him run routes. I got to watch him catch the ball in comparison to a lot of these other West Coast kids. And that is something that I think, we look at the height, weight, speed and stuff, which Saldate has. I think that's something that I had a little bit of reservations about. There are times where he was getting jammed at the line of scrimmage and he really isn't able to get off of those guys. So he's just got to work on his hand usage a little bit. A lot of it's technique, right? And a lot of things that maybe he's not being taught at the high school level. That's very teachable at the next level of college. Because the biggest thing you cannot teach these kids, especially with Logan Saldate and what he has, is height, weight, speed. You can get them a little heavier. You can't make them longer, and you can't make them that much faster. So he has all of that. So for me, he's a big stock up guy, potentially very early on in his senior season.